From the great state of Texas, you are now listening to Skip the Noise podcast, a Rounded Edge media production. Thank you so much for joining us. And by us, of course, I am referring to Ben, aka Mexican Nostradamus, and yours truly, Benji. We are without the services of Brown Python for this, or I was about to say this evening out of habit, but no, this is the fucking first time I think ever we're recording during the day.
Yeah,
it's been a busy couple months. If you haven't noticed, we haven't been putting out the episodes with as much consistency as we like, but we're still pushing through. I do have one as we record this. I've actually got an episode in the can that I need to edit as soon as I'm done with this. So you could potentially have an STN double feature on your hands for this. What is today? Thursday, December 1st, the year of our Lord 2022. And guess what December 1st is? Ooh. It is the birthday of one Jeremy Masters. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jeremy.
Happy birthday, Jeremy. This is for you, brother.
That is sweet.
Anyway, if you're new to the show, Jeremy's been a featured guest on several of our episodes. Yep. I'm not going to tell you which ones. I'm just going to force you to scroll back through our back catalog so you can discover for yourselves. But anyway, without further ado, what's going on right now, Ben? It's a big old event going on over there in
before we kick off the show, I'd like to say how much more professional it is whenever you fucking do the introduction as it is shit when we do it. It's like blah, 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 I skipped the noise, I pissed my pants, but when you do it, it's like all like professional, like, hey everybody. You know what I'm saying?
It's just
pretty nice.
It's just repetition. That's all.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Way better than what we do.
You can do it too if you put your mind to it.
We fumbled.
I'm nothing special,
bro. I got too much energy. I hit the fucking ground sprinting. I don't hit it running. I'm gone, and it's just to catch up with the brain. Blame it on some type of form of Asperger's. But anyways, moving on.
For sure.
So much fucking wild shit. But I am going to start with the less wild shit so we can kind of start it off with a good tone today. We're going to talk about the World Cup a little bit. It's been fucking crazy. As you've seen it, Senegal, the big mover into the final group of 16. But not only that, the fucking Aussies made it.
Yeah.
Socceroo. So if we have any Australian listeners, fucking good, good doing it, mate. You put the shrimps on the Barbie and you got out of the group.
In like one brief second, they were very excited that you acknowledged that. Then within that exact second, they turned on you and they'll never listen again. So bravo. Well
you
done.
Put the shrimp on the Barbie, mate.
But no, you know what? It is exciting that the Socceroos made it. I like, Aussies are easy to like root for, are they not?
They really are.
What I mean?
I fucking like the Aussies. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Like for some reason, I've always had a thing. Like I guess growing up as a kid, there was these movies and you first see it and you're like, what? Like BMX Bandits and shit. Like, why do they talk like that? But they're not British, but they're not American. Wait, what the fuck is it? Like when I first discovered like what Australia was,
what the fuck
like I didn't get it. Like it blew my mind. I was like, they talk like us, but it's not them, but they're not English or what the fuck? And that's when I learned, like as a very, very young child, the concept of Australia just kind of for whatever reason blew my mind. So I was always like kind of mildly intrigued. And then Mad Max and all that shit too. So it seemed like there was more.
It's fucking dope.
The 80s seemed like they had a lot of it was very pro Australia,
dude.
Now that I look back, it's something I didn't really consider, but now that I just came out of my mouth, I'm like,
welcome to the land.
It seemed like there was an agenda. But go to the 70s, you wouldn't even have known Australia existed in popular culture, right?
Fuck all to Australia. Before it was like, welcome to
the 80s was like, oh shit. It's like America just discovered it. Like in the 80s. And they decided, holy shit, this place is kind of dope, man. Everybody lives on the
British are like, that's where we send all of our prisoners to.
They hunt crocodiles, like holy shit, this is crazy. I like it. They talk cool, man. They like to have a good time and drink.
They fucking drink Fosters.
Bro, at a big ass, like they eat sharks and drink big ass.
They punch each other. Fucking dude, they go swimming with fucking, what are they called? You go swimming with like great whites and shit. It's fucking pretty. Yeah. It's a pretty gnarly.
They wear like shark teeth. They wear like shark teeth necklaces
that they get themselves. Like they're not allowed unless they choke a shark out and beat it to death. But nonetheless, the Socceroos did that in a quite shocking. I mean, seriously, fucking shocking matter because they had a group where it's France, who is a nightmare. They had Denmark and then Tunisia and Australia. Tunisia actually played a part in them going forward because they actually pulled off a win, which was pretty crazy. But then you see them beat Denmark. Denmark's going home, but also just the brisk breaking news because the latest results for Group F just came out. Fucking Morocco won the group. Croatia is number 2. And the big one that's going out in that group is Belgium. And of course, our fellow CONCACAF team, Canada. But what's the way I'm going to put this? Because if there are Canadian listeners, I'm sorry. But fuck you, Canada, because you're a bunch of fucking bitches. That's what that team is. During CONCACAF, they played like shit. They fucking mounted a million fouls, and they all sucking off, what's his name, that plays like 30 minutes a game for fucking Byron. He's like, hey, he's the greatest. If it wasn't for MLS, Canada, you'd be fuck all. So thank us for anything that you do, because that's the only reason.
Yeah, and like I said,
the rest of the team is shit.
Like I said in the text thread, once Dwayne Rosario retired,
fucking
I lost
I lost
all
Canada.
interest.
I miss
all
that
interest
Canada,
in
bro. It was
Canada.
hoof it to D-Ro, and he'll get you like a hat trick.
Like you always had a chance. Like just
right.
You know what I mean? Like if it was close, like you could always just rely. Well, fuck it, dude. Maybe D-Ro will do something, pull something out of his ass that you've never seen
was
before.
The greatest Canadian player ever. I don't care what they say about the guy from Bayern. Oh, he's so good. He's not that good. I mean, he dribbles a little bit. And there's another kid actually that's actually looking better than him. That's a young kid, but he'll burn out because too much maple syrup. But Canada is out. They lost every game. I mean, every game. So the crazy part is they topped CONCACAF. But the way it's looking, because of course, Mexico, I'm partial to both Mexico and the United States, as I am from both worlds. But of course, I always will go for Team America when it comes down between Team Mexico and Team USA. I'll always go Team USA. But any other day than that, I'm all in for Mexico. They're out of it, but it's almost looking. So this is the funny thing that could happen today. Costa Rica pulled off a shock win against Japan. If Costa Rica pulls off a shock win against a shitty German team right now that has lost 2 games, and it's totally feasible because of the way Costa Rica plays, the bottom 2 teams in CONCACAF are the only ones that advance to the knockout stages, because the United States was 3rd.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh? It's
not only that, but like just in general, like if you would have put betting odds on the group, especially like Belgium, right?
Yeah.
And fucking Germany. Like holy shit. It was like that one year. What year was it that who was it? Somebody got eliminated in the first was it the last World Cup?
It was
like
Germany.
A fucking juggernaut. Yeah, that's because
right. Mexico beat Germany. Yeah, they're just like,
that's
oh
right.
my god, oh. Yeah. And like we have a national holiday in Mexico. Well, dude, I think they're going. I think the soccer gods are going to give us Costa Rica, and I think it's going to be their first final 16 ever on the shittiest Costa Rican team they've ever had. But they're just gonna they're gonna nut through it, dude. They're gonna just bust through. I mean, it's my prediction. Game starts in. I mean, if you're listening to this live today, the game starts at 12:48. You may be like, after in like 3 hours, Germany wins 19-0. But Germany's having a rough time. Doesn't look so good. Costa Rica could come out banging, and it's an interesting game because Spain plays Japan. And Japan's in 2nd right now. So that's a loss for Japan. No one's going to win against Spain. It's going to at least be, at the very least, a tie. So they pull this shit off. Costa Rica with a -7 goal difference, if they win the game, will be a -6 goal difference, could end up getting out of the group. It's fucking madness.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm pumped. So I'm enjoying that. But yeah, it looks like Brazil all the way. I will like to make my little prediction, not just because I'm a Team USA nut, but all that, but I really think we're going to beat the Netherlands on Saturday.
Yeah, I think we
catch them 2-1. I think we catch them 2-1, and
right.
we get to the final 8, and then someone's going to butt fuck us to death. It's going to be hard.
Yeah,
but it'll be like a 5-0.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I think we're going to win like 2-1, 3-1. Netherlands is going to fall apart. Van Gaal is going to bust a testicle, and it's going to be over. So yeah, so sorry everyone. I know it's not our normal cup of tea here. It's Skip the Noise, not usually the sport commentary people, but that's probably why you listen to us, because we have a hold of everything. But what we don't have a hold of yet is Trump's taxes, but they have been released to the congressional committees. So crazy big thing that just got released yesterday was that Trump's taxes have been released now to the congressional committees that are investigating him regarding anything they could figure out, they're trying to investigate him for. So now we're in an interesting, I guess, predicament, really, but rather it's just something that we kind of know. I mean, really, once they're really completely released, we're going to know everything that I think we already knew, right? He's a crook. He cheats taxes. He's really in debt. And this presidential campaign has been the only thing that's kept him financially solvent probably in the last 10 years. I mean, that's my thought process, because he's at a loss for everything. But the big thing is going to show is his dealings with Saudi Arabia and his son-in-law's dealings with UAE, I believe, right now, where we're talking about billions of dollars.
What do you think?
Going to be he's running to be president of the United States.
So that's the real question. Like, so in your opinion, Ben, like, how, if it's worst case scenario, right?
Right.
How much do you think that sways his fan base?
None. Those guys, dude.
That's the thing. Like that. That's why I asked you that, because I don't think it fucking matters.
He could be fucking Helen Keller and snorting coke off her ass while hitting a blind guy, and then like, I don't know, like flipping off like the American flag, and they're still gonna vote for him. Then you say, oh, that's locker room stuff. It's just like, it's just. That's what they said. Bob grabbed by the pussy and all the rapey things he did. It's just locker room talk. Locker room talk. That's all guys talk about, raping chicks in the locker room. That's what we do. No,
hey, that's what we do.
Yes. I grabbed this pussy and I grabbed
but the reason I say I've heard somebody refer to, like, yeah, it's a little, it's a little risque for my life, because we have kind of a wide variety of people who listen to the show. Some are a little risque. Some are more a fan of the kind of standard stuff we do, and others are more the back half. They're kind of interested in that. So anyway, I've heard the term. What the hell did you just say?
Locker room talk.
Locker room talk. Right.
Yeah. This is what the guys talk about. We talk about the pussy.
Just a little grab ass and towel flipping. It's nothing to see here. Nothing but a little multinational tax fraud.
Well, exactly. So we'll see. I mean, they just released it. So the big news now is what they do with it and whether or not this proceeds, because like, as I think probably people should know or if they don't know, they've already basically appointed a special counsel whether or not they're going to actually indict President Trump. So our former President Trump. So there's a lot of shit going on. The guy did something illegal, right? How illegal it is and how many loopholes he can find. The guy's the Teflon, he's a Teflon Don. So I don't think anything special is going to happen. I don't think he's going to jail, and nothing big's going to happen. But it is a big thing. But one person that should probably go to jail for being a complete turncoat fuckface is Joe Biden. Because as we speak right now, 4 of, I believe, the 7 railroad unions did not approve the new contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically going to strong arm them by having Congress take care of it. So for people that don't know, railroad unions are part of a vital or essential part of the American whatever infrastructure, shit like that. So what's going to happen is Biden has basically said, he's been echoing this sentiment the whole time that, guess what? I'm not really going to do anything for you. And of course, it's come to fruition. So what he's going to do is, there's several provisions that these railroad workers want. One being fucking sick days, are just time off, of which they don't get. Like, these guys will work like 6 weeks straight without a day off. And technically they'll have a day off, but they're on call. And most of these guys say 90% of the time they're called on. And if they miss that day, it's considered like a, what's a day if you skip work? Like, what's the management term for it? Like, you didn't go to work that day. Yeah, like an absence, but unapproved, I guess.
Right.
So it's like a negative mark.
Unapproved absence, yeah.
Yeah, some shit like that. So basically,
right, like you're
like a job abandonment for the day.
You're ding for, oh Jesus.
Yeah, so they really fucking ride them hard. So that's all they really wanted, and of course more pay. Because if you know, if anyone has heard, also the railroad unions the railroads themselves have over the last, I believe, 10 years, amassed $162 billion and spent over 70% of that in bond buybacks, which basically means that when you bond buyback or stock, whatever buybacks, you're basically paying yourself back for your own company at a loan to itself, but you're buying it. So basically you're paying yourself. You're paying the dividends and all the profits to the stockholders. And of course, the biggest stockholders tend to be the people on the board. So they're basically paying themselves off. And it's crazy. Instead of reinvesting it in new technology, more people to help out, are giving workers better benefits and stuff like that, they tend to just keep all the money. So this is a big story of corruption. And just, it really harkens back to why we need unions, but at the same time, why even if you have a union, it doesn't fucking matter. Because if it's deemed important enough, they're going to take it away anyways. So.
Right. And this is not the only industry where that, like the scenario you just described, it's not just the railroad. This is like kind of it's a good, well, what am I trying to say? You can focus on this and see what's playing out here.
Right.
And just transfer it to, but just because it's not a newsworthy event, like this shit is going on in every fucking industry, basically.
Oh, it is. It really is. Big time. And if you look at it, I mean, the other industries that can be affected are people that work on dock workers. They're all unionized. Airline pilots, airline stewardess. I mean, you'd be very surprised on what people could be forced to capitulate to demands that are not in their interest because it's a nationalized, in a sense, even though like none of the money is nationalized, all the power, like, oh, if you strike, you could destroy our economy. Well, right, but why am I not being treated correctly? Well, we deem what's fair. Well, no, I deem what's fair. Or my union that I joined deems what's fair, but we are doing it instead, or the Congress will be. So it's really shitty because, Biden likes to try to act like he's super blue collar and he's part of the regular man and all this bullshit. And it just relays that he's just another bought and paid shill for the fucking big ones.
Well, and it shows too, just the overall, to kind of go like macro on it. It shows so union, in my personal opinion, unions, or I should rephrase it as representation for the workers, is vital. It's important.
Right.
The problem with the whole system and why the criticism isn't invalid at all, whichever side you could kind of defend if you take the right angle. But what I'm trying to say is the way that unions are set up, being a liaison or like a go-between relationship between, government and, especially on the big scale, government and, industry,
right.
It sets them up to reap the benefits.
Right.
So anyway, it's not, so sometimes like the criticism isn't necessarily bashing the need for workers' rights. It's bashing the actual people that serve in that capacity that are able to take advantage because of where that relationship sits. You know what I mean? Between government and commercial interests. So,
right.
So yeah.
Well, it's hard. I get you. It's hard. It's fucked. Exactly. Because basically, you're trying to keep the kids out of the cookie jar, but the jar is open and it's okay if some kids can get to it, but not all of them. You know what I'm saying? It's just a fucked system. It's just really messed up. And what really bugs me the most about it is how Biden tries to act like he's so pro worker, so pro this, but he capitulates because he's just trying to maintain this economy in a sense that he'll do anything to keep it going because he's so scared he's going to lose. They're going to lose power. And instead of doing what's right, he's more concerned with what's power. But, I think people would respect more if he actually did something he believed in, and it's just another time he's not doing nothing. So, it's just sad. It's just sad. Just like before, he was mentioning, I'm going to do something about marijuana legalization, right before the voting, right before the midterms. And then what does he do? Drops off. So talk about it again.
It's not.
It's sound bites to try to get votes. It's crap.
It's not. In other words, it's not a mysterious pattern. This is the same shit. Over and over. So
he's just a shill. He's a shill for the fucking. He's a shill also for the fucking. When he did it with the student loans, he's one of the people that co-authored that you can't get those things out of bankruptcy.
Yeah, dude, he's Hillary with a different decoration.
Yeah, he's Hillary, but older and maybe a little bit less of a body count. Maybe, maybe. I don't know. You never fucking know. He's Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe could do it quite a bit, but I am really frustrated with that. I think the number one thing about being a Democrat was defending the rights of the worker, even though some workers are too dumb to understand that, AKA most of North Texas. They don't understand that their rights are not being represented by over wild, crazy capitalism, because they all think that one day they could possibly be rich, but they're not going to be, because that's controlled. And the few that do break through, but the reality is it's mainly controlled. And it's by who you know, what you know, not by how hard you work. And no matter who tries to play this stupid mantra that's how it goes down. There's a lot of really hardworking people that don't shit. So that's just,
it's not. Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily. Don't get me wrong. It's possible to. Yeah. And it does require hard work, but hard work itself isn't going to get you that.
Yeah, but consistently, it's not hard work. Consistently is who
definitely smart,
who your family is.
Smart hard work could get you there.
Yeah, but it's really who your family is, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a big percentage of that. But anyway,
but yeah. So moving on.
Moving on.
It fucking sucks. I don't like Joe right now. He's not only Weekend at Bernie's.
Well, here's what I was gonna say to.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, please.
I was trying to, I forgot what my train of thought, but what it was going to say was just, and that's the thing that sucks, is like, you almost, at this point, it's apparent that Joe Biden, not only was he a shitty selection, but he was a shitty selection that was selected like deliberately because he was a shitty selection.
Oh, for sure.
If I may, do you know what I mean? Sure. Like, and in other words, like he had, so he's got all this stuff on paper, right? Like the career and all these things. But in 2020, or let's just back it up to 2019, everybody knows he doesn't know where the fuck he is. And it's just like he's a vessel for their bullshit to like maintain, for the Democratic Party, just to maintain this like fucking doggy paddling, you know what I mean? Political fucking fraud or whatever, dude. Like, anyway, fuck it.
Of debauchery, of mind-numbing tingliness.
I wanted to use the froth because I
like it.
Dude, I'll try to find it if I can. There was this fucking TikTok I came across where these two dudes go into city council. Oh fuck! If I can find the audio while you're talking later, I'll pull it up. But these two dudes go into city council and they're like, I would just like to say that, partying on a yacht is one of the most, it's like they're taking a piss, but it's so fucking funny. And he said something like, yeah, my froth was peaked or some shit like that. I'll try to find it. I'll try to find it later. But anyway, that was funny. But
I fucking love that shit.
What's next? Crypto, Bitcoin?
Well, no, I think I want to go into something that kind of relates into crypto, into Bitcoin and cryptos. But so I ran into an interesting article that I really went to a deep fucking dive last night into regarding the term hyperinflation. So basically, that's whenever a fiat currency or a currency that's not really, so fiat currencies are currencies not built on based on real things. So remember, we had something called the gold standard. So every dollar we had was backed by a certain amount of gold, right? But now we have fiat currencies where it's basically based on credit and other complicated shit. So that's as far as I go. I'm not a monetary expert, so bear with me.
No, you have to be like
fucking learned.
Like what was the Stephen Hawking level,
right?
To understand how money works nowadays, dude.
I have no fucking. I mean, I don't.
So I'm embarrassed to admit, like how. I mean, I know that my check's clear and it shows up in my bank, and you know, I can manage a few stocks here and there and do a couple things with some accounts, but dude, beyond that, it gets real. I mean, you might as well be talking about like metaphysical fucking neuroscience, bro.
Well, that it does get that way though. It does get that way. So like, okay, so I'm going to start it with the parable that I think this guy used because he knows he was talking to a bunch of fucking apes because that's what we are. So imagine a town has zero money in it, no money at all. Okay. But the town goes up to the bank and says, hey, I need to borrow money so I can circulate it into my town. So that will become my town's money. Right.
Right.
So the problem is the bank says, yeah, no problem. We will give you this money, this new entity that will be in your town. And of course, though it's a loan, but every loan has what? Interest, right?
Interest. Yeah.
So let's say it's 5% interest. So the bank gives this money, says, okay, we'll give you this loan and you pay us back in a year or whatever the terms are, right? Well, a year comes back. And let's say the town gets every single penny of that money back through, you know, people drinking and taxes and crime or whatever, right? The only problem is if the bank gave them a loan with the 5% interest, the town, even if it got every single fucking penny back, will only have $100, but will owe the bank $105.
Yeah.
How do they pay that back? If there's only $100 in circulation.
Yeah, no,
and this is what's happening every fucking day, folks. This is what we're doing every day. This is what every single country is doing. There are countries right now who are loaned out 364% past their GDP. So they owe 364% more than what they bring in. Actually not what they bring in, but what their country sells and does business, the grand domestic product every year.
Yeah, you know what it's like, dude. So it's like watching a cartoon, right? And saying like, okay, see the rabbit is going to go over and he's going to hunt the pig or whatever. The pig is going to hunt the rabbit, blah, blah, blah. Like when he shoots him, okay? But when you'll get paid when he shoots him, but in real life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, it's
like,
dude,
in other words,
nuts. It becomes fucking nuts. It's
that's
like
what it is. It's like you're banking on, like you're signing documents and making agreements based on like a fictional idea.
Which it is. That's a fiat currency. The dollar is the people talk shit about like
it's
Bitcoin
an idea.
And all these things. The dollar is not real in a sense. It's just what we say is real because it's used internationally to pay for oil. The only way you can buy oil from the Saudi Arabians and from OPEC is with American dollars, which is the only reason why it has value. To be honest, everyone should know that, right? Everyone, because we're not on the gold standard. We got on the gold standard in the 70s when that cocksucker Nixon did it. So going back into that, now we owe $5.
I just thought of something funny. Go ahead.
Now we owe $5 in this fictional tale. Now you owe $5 that you cannot repay back because there is no $5. Yeah. So what does the bank do to get its money back from the town, from the city that's loaned the money? It continues to loan other people money so that they can put that money back in so they can get their original money back. So if you look at it in perpetuity, it continues to snowball the amount of money out, the money that is owed to the bank and how much money they have to put out to get back the fictional amount, which therefore inflates the overall value of anything. So that's when it completely devalues money. So we're at the point now where our national debt is like 22 trillion. But the problem is that's not the whole picture. We also have treasury debt. We have all these other factors that come in. So our national debt is closer to I think they said, and I can't be quoted for sure. It's from Reddit, and we can figure out a way to link it later on. It's from a guy called Peruvian Bull. Fucking apparently he's the man on the subreddit and thing. So he and then people check it out, please, because I'm doing a very
big shout
out Peruvian Bull, guys.
Peruvian Bull. Okay.
Guy fucked up my whole night.
Oh no.
Oh, he did, because true, when you hear this shit,
I don't want to.
it
My
spirals.
brain's already.
Oh, bro,
No,
it
I know.
eventually spirals to the point to where all monetary value collapses because that debt continues to spiral out of control to the point to where we can't pay debitors. Once we can't pay debitors, then the money that our fake money really means nothing because we can't even pay for anything. So other countries, to try to keep that from happening, will then go and buy back dollars, and it becomes this never-ending spiral of buying fake and enlarging debt to the point to where there is no confidence. There's nothing. At which point the whole fucking market collapses. The scary thing is, according to this guy and according to his research and a bunch of other papers written, we've already tripped that sequence off. We're like halfway into it.
Think about this. Here's a little brain exercise. What if like it got to the point where these companies have to like liquidate and a Chinese corporation purchases Google?
But see, that's the problem. Everyone's so tied together. No money is worth anything because everybody uses the American dollar as the standard. So the thing you use and you owe the most of and you buy the most of is now worthless. Nobody has anything. This guy's fucking talking about having solid assets like property, gold, and
bro, that's why
wildest shit, food.
Yeah. I mean, back when you used to listen to fucking Coast to Coast with Art Bell.
Yeah.
But even, dude, back then there would be like these little commercials about
silver,
fucking gold bullion and shit and silver.
Yep.
There was some guy, the little thing I laughed at earlier when you were talking was, I had this vision in my mind of like this fucking society of like Plutonians, right? That have existed in the core of the earth forever. That it was all a fucking shake and bake with the fiat currency.
Yeah.
And there's this like, in the core of the earth, there's just this like labyrinth of gold abundance, like all the gold, and not even the gold that we've been using out here on the surface of the earth that we think is so valuable is like we use for jewelry and shit. They're like, no, it's not even fucking actual gold. Like we duped you the whole time. And they're just sitting in this like cities of gold.
It's like it's like that dragon.
Yeah, like everything.
Dragon from Smog.
Toilets are made out of gold. It's like Dubai or some shit, but under the earth. And they have all the gold. So all of a sudden they just let us fucking go into this debt spiral that like reaches, when you look in the mirrors, when there's like a mirror on one side.
Oh, that's yes.
Like that's kind of what it is.
Oh yeah.
Except for debt. And then so you know how like somebody's broke? Can you imagine being infinitely broke?
That's what the guy was trying to say.
It's like quicksand to where you could never even get a deal to where you could come out. Like you just created a mathematical quicksand.
Well, there is, and that's called a depression.
It's called sucking dick on the corner.
Exactly that too. Well,
goods instead of money.
For governments, it's depression.
Like sucking dick for food.
I mean, for governments,
that's your only way out.
Well, dude, so they keep quoting the Weimar Republic, which apparently I guess is Germany. I think after World War I, after all, like they fought, So for those who don't know, the Germans basically started World War I. They were very aggressive. So whenever they lost, eventually, when the Doughboys came in, that's a reference to the United States troops who just beat the shit out of them, who did it twice. But like once they had to basically capitulate whatever to the world, they had to pay. The world was like, "Hey, asshole, you started it. You broke all this shit. Now you got to pay for it." So they had to pay massive war reparations, which had to be built into their constitution. So it got to the point that hyperinflation occurred so badly for them that the people that were the richest were farmers because they had something to barter.
Right. They had actual.
The society went back to bartering, which is kind of what this guy's saying. Like, you want to have real physical things. You want gold. He goes, you can grow your food. You have a source of water. It can get to that point to where we're going to collapse our currency to that crazy amount. It's just nuts, man. It's just crazy. So it's like end of like complete depression beyond what we could ever imagine.
So buy a bunch of shit you can trade of value,
Right.
rack up your credit card debt because it's all gonna go.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. If you think of that way, it's
just
like
buy a bunch of shit with your credit cards.
I'm
Dude,
buying 7 buildings.
Yeah.
I'm buying.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, well,
it.
think about it. And then if you have a bunch of guns, come collect.
No, for real. No, that's the thing. Like I was saying it kind of jokey, but no, not really. Like that's kind of,
you
probably should do that.
Yeah. Come collect, come get it. Come try to take it from me. Yeah. So, because if you think about it, if the society goes completely broke, we're talking about military, police, everyone, no one's fucking getting paid. No. So it's wild, man. It's wild. So anyways, I was reading
and that's the thing. What is even paid? Right. The fact that it shows up on a fucking thing that we can pull the plug on at any second.
Exactly. And that kind of ties into what's happening, not necessarily what's happening with Bitcoin, but the reality with Bitcoin has been completely delegitimized now. Like, so, you have that situation right now with Bitcoin where it has been delegitimized. At least that's what the European, I think the European Union, one of their financial advisors kind of stated, was that basically they said Bitcoin is not a legitimate currency. And that Bitcoin itself, it was always a Ponzi scheme, right? But it's like the pot calling the kettle black, because our fiat currency is okay because it's backed by, what a bunch of old people say. Whereas Bitcoin, the way it was built, blockchain, and I think you even say, you had a cool comment about that when we were talking about Bitcoin, was that it cannot be manipulated. There's only a certain amount of Bitcoin that will ever be created. And so that value will always maintain a legitimacy. Whereas the fiat currency we have, if there's a problem, we just keep printing money.
Right.
And so right now, Bitcoin is, if everyone's known, is kind of dying out a little bit. It went down to 16,000 from a high of 67,000. Multiple trading firms that were involved in cryptocurrency have gone belly up. And particularly, and everyone should probably know about FTX, with the guy who basically was playing League of Legends while asking and pitching business deals for billions of dollars. So some rich kid who, and it's crazy, his apparently he was juiced in, had the right family. I think his mother was everybody was juiced into the business community. And they all said, "Oh, this is their son. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna do what he says." While the whole time he's literally stealing every penny.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's fucking crazy. So that's kind of why you see, if anyone understands like kind of the fall of Bitcoin and it being a blockchain currency, while yes, it's also a fiat currency, at least we know that the currency cannot be manipulated, that more of it can't be made to continue to spiral into these weird debts, because Bitcoin is only going to have so much Bitcoin. That's the end of it.
Bitcoin is shitcoin.
Right now it's shitcoin. Hell, dude, have you heard about Miami? So, Miami, the city of Miami,
right?
They were basing everything on crypto. Oh, they shifted to the crypto economy there. Yeah, now I
didn't know that.
They're fucked. Like they even came up with the Miami coin.
Really?
Yes, it was Miami coin.
I didn't know any of
like
this.
Dogecoin, Miami coin. It's down 99%.
Wow.
Yeah, so the city of Miami's fucked. And you know what else is pretty funny?
I thought their currency was cocaine.
Well, that too. Well, see, they were trying to legitimize.
I didn't know they got into crypto.
They went from one fucking thing to another. They're like, okay, let's try another quick rich scheme. That'll get us good.
For sure. You buy like
let's not worry about making sure our buildings
even at church, you drop like a gram of coke in the offering plate.
Exactly. No, a gram, dude. You get your
that's just Miami. I don't even snort it. I just
drop a kilo.
That's what we use here. Yeah.
They don't use the offering plate. They just have a dolly that they wheel down the thing, and guys are dropping bricks of cocaine. They use all that cocaine.
The preacher's all sweaty and shit. Like, yeah, it's got fired up for Jesus.
Motherfuckers gnawing on the fucking microphone, just staring at people.
licking his gums all
It's
fast
like,
and shit.
yeah. You know, like, oh, fucking, oh, Jesus. He's like, all non shit. Well, you know, if they actually use those bricks of cocaine for foundation for the buildings that keep falling over there, that would probably help too. But no, so now they wanted to go with crypto. So now they're fucked. The city of Miami made a substantial investment into crypto. So now that's just gone bleh. You know who else did it? City of Fort Worth.
Of course.
They did, of course, because you know why? I hate to bag on this place. Well, no, I don't hate to bag on it because
you don't.
It is
you
the
enjoy
shittiest place in the universe. They spent, I believe, $84,000 on a crypto mining rig. That literally 3 days later, Bitcoin then fell.
Nice.
Yeah, and anyone with a brain would have known that Bitcoin was going to fall, but they still did it, which is just another complete waste of resources by a shitty town that can't even handle basic math or anything. I mean, at all. Like I'm shocked most days that motherfuckers out here don't forget to breathe. Like, I shit you not. I am so confused by the lack of just overall basic. Like, you ever seen like in Waterboy? Like, you know, he's talking about the medulla oblongata. Yeah. There's a major, I'm really concerned that there's a missing component and most of the people here. Must be something in the water. I'm getting stupider as I speak, but yeah, it's pretty fucking bad out here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to do something good for your life and something wonderful, just don't fucking move here. Just get the fuck out of here. As we can see the exodus that is occurring here now. It's pretty fucking funny. So a lot of corporations tried to force people to move here. Some would trying to move from California here. It was so bad, their attrition rate, like their attrition rates, like one company I know of, 2% of their employees moved from California to there.
I remember you talking about that. Is it like,
and now there's an exodus
specifically Fort Worth or just DFW?
DFW and whole. It's a shithole. Dallas too. I don't give a fuck. Dallas tries to act like it's metropolitan. It's about as metropolitan as, like, I don't know, my ass on ice skates. It's just not. There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing metropolitan about it. It's just a shithole next to another shithole. It's Dallas is, I guess, if you compare it to Fort Worth, right? It's like Ebola versus AIDS, right? That's about it. That's about the comparison. They both kill you. AIDS just does it a little slower, right? So I would say Fort Worth was probably Ebola and Dallas is AIDS. But real AIDS, not like the bitch AIDS, not like, you know,
like 80s, full ass 80s AIDS.
Fucking full ass 80s AIDS. That's the shithole that I live in. Full ass 80s AIDS.
And if this is your first
Philadelphia, like the movie Philadelphia AIDS, like the shit that Tom Hanks got.
Dude, where this is I love it. It always happens at the end. So it's kind of perfect.
Seriously, fuck.
No, I like it. Let me say one thing.
Yeah.
If you're a first time listener, and you're wondering where all the venom comes from Ben. So Ben and I are both native Houstonians. Ben involuntarily
totally
uplifted his whole livelihood and took it to the DFW area about, what are we talking about now? 15 years ago?
Since 2008, bro.
Wow.
2008.
So it has been a long ass fucking time. He's been
fucking minute incarcerated in this shit.
Yeah. To
I mean, it's like you know what I think about sometimes? You ever see those old movies where they show like those prisoners and like the gulags? That's what this is. This is like the gulag of the mind and soul. Like, you have to be just a complete fucktard to fucking be here. Like, you really do. Voluntarily, if you live here voluntarily, you're just something wrong with you. But anyways, big
up. I mean, I think we're kind of on the back end of this deal.
Yeah. I'm back end of your ass.
Unless, did you have any other?
No. I was just warning everybody. Just be super careful with what's crypto happening, and also, if you give a chance, check out that article on Reddit by Proving Your Bull. It is a long article, and there's a lot of big words.
If you send it to me, Ben, I'll post it somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey, how about this? Let's kind of wrap up here with a little impromptu shout outs. You got anything?
Let's see.
Off the top of your head? We haven't done shout outs in a minute. I have one. Is why
you go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
While you're thinking, I'll shout out to this on my way to come make it back to my house after running around on a typically busy off day as I normally do. It always seems like it's going to be filled with like, oh, well, let me relax a little bit. And but I can't complain too much because we were able to get this in. But anyway, I was on my way back from running around doing some shit. Had to make it back to the house by 12:30 so Ben and I can make this happen today. Once again, happy birthday to Jeremy, December 1st. But I stopped at so Dutch Brothers have started popping up everywhere, and I'm a big coffee guy. So I was like, oh, on my way back, there's and mind you, I already had my morning coffee, but I go all in. So I was ready for another cup, and I was like, oh fuck, this is perfect timing. I've got just enough time. I can run in here real quick and try it. I had an Americano. I just told the girl, I was like, yeah, what can I help you with, sir? I said, just black coffee, whatever the biggest cup you have is. That's all I want. She goes, oh, is that Americano? I said, yeah, so I'll take an Americano. That's fine. I guess they don't brew coffee there. I didn't press the issue too much. I guess they don't. I don't know. Maybe they just serve Americanos. But I liked it, man. It was really good. And I don't know if it's like if they've been along a long time or if they're just
they're from the West Coast.
Okay. It's good shit, man. And not only that, like, dude, they were fucking jamming. Like they were in there, and it's like just a little box, right? Most of their business is obviously drive through. They have a few benches, kind of like think of like a Sonic type of thing, like on the outside where you can maybe sit, and they just have a window you order up at, and
it's like a snow cone joint.
It's set up. Obviously, most of their business is drive through because there was that's why I went. I walked up. But anyway, Americano was great, but they were fucking jamming. Like all the kids that were working in there, it was like 5 of them crammed in, and dude, their music was you know how like there's like an acceptable volume that you can do at work and like get away with it. For example, like if you go to a clothing store, there's like a very set. It's like purposely loud because they want you to jam and like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy another pair of pants. But
that's what it does.
But this exceeded that. This was like the volume of like
like what they did to the Branch Davidians.
What? Or it's like, was that 2 shots of fucking espresso or something? Like, dude, it was so fucking loud. But it was all right because like they got my order correct, so I'm not tripping. But they were fucking jam. They were, I don't know what was on. It was like some Drake or some shit. So it was super loud, and but no, it was really good. But and I don't know, I'm not worried about it too much. But so I was standing up at the window, and I was the only one there, so it wasn't like I was in anybody's way. So I was just kind of waiting for my my cup. And as I was standing there, a bee like flew in, and I was like, huh. And I was watching a little bit, and before I like, alarmed anybody, I was going to say, hey, just FYI, there's a bee in there. I was like, fuck it. Let me just, cause it was flying close enough to the window that I was like, I can kind of like help them out, man. I can swat them. I don't want to, they're making,
you don't want to kill them.
They're jamming and making drinks like a motherfucker. So I was like, no, I'll just take care of this on my own. I'll make this a Benji problem, and I'll figure it out on behalf of them. So I start swatting at it. But I couldn't get to it. Like it went deeper in the thing. And then right about that time, she walks up and is, here you go, sir. Have a great day. So in my mind, I'm like, damn, I wonder if she saw that little motion because obviously she didn't know there was a bee,
right.
A couple of feet from her. And it was one of those things too, where like, I almost was like, oh, hey, I was trying to get that bee out of there. Just FYI, there's a bee. I don't know why. Normally I'm obviously a very talkative person. I just didn't say it. Like I just took my coffee, and somehow that transaction was like, okay, I'm done with my Dutch Brothers transaction. Yeah, right.
Problem's over.
And I didn't even realize I did that, but I did. Like she handed me my Americano, and I checked out. Like, oh, thank you very much. Just blah blah blah. And I turned around and walked the other way. And it kind of occurred to me, like, man, dude, I just left him with a fucking bee. But I was like, I genuinely wanted to swat it out, and I don't like to kill bees, but I would have killed it for him. But what I'm wondering is if when she turned around, if she saw me do that, she didn't act weird or anything. Like she didn't have a puzzled look on her face, but I knew what I was doing. But like, if you're from their perspective, like, what's wrong with this asshole? Like, why is he reaching in?
Yeah, bro.
Like, is he
bro.
crazy? You know,
Yeah, dude. They probably thought you were trying to
that's
grab
pretty.
some ass, bro.
That's funny. But I
That is
did
pretty
see,
funny.
you know, like that was mildly crazy. I did, just to wrap this up. Speaking of, like, you know, restaurants or, you know, not fast food, but you know what I mean, window restaurants. I went in Tuesday, was you know, Church's chicken. You get the two for the
Hell
deal.
yeah, church
Two
chicken.
piece every
Yeah.
Tuesday. So I go in there, and once again, I'm a big guy. I'll park, dude, and walk in. Like, if motherfuckers are so lazy, there's
Yeah.
every fucking, no matter how shitty the fucking fast food place is, where I live, it's like 7 fucking cars deep.
Oh yeah.
Not even lunchtime. Like,
Oh yeah.
so I always just go in and get it like immediately, because I'm just like, I'd rather park and be the fuck out of here than sit there and idle. But anyway, so I go in. Dude, I know this is going long, but I haven't been on the mic in a while, man. I'm trying to get it all
I'm
out.
feeling it. I'm feeling
So
it.
I go,
Bro.
yeah, I'm running with it. So I go in, and I tell him I want, you know, however many 2-piece dark, because that's what I do. I'll buy for the family, but I'll do it in 2, you know what I mean, like 2-piece increments. So I get the deal, but I end up with like fucking 20 pieces. And so I do it like that, and she's okay. And then this weird guy, like, I'd seen him out of my peripherals, but he's obviously, either he's mentally unstable or he's on all kinds of shit. I couldn't tell which one, but kind of a vagrant-ish, you know. He gets out of his booth, and he's like, he's kind of hobbling over. So I'm like, okay, like, all right, I'm on alert, you know, because he walks up. I'm just sitting there at the window, or not the window, but like the counter to order. And I'm kind of on one side of it, on the, you know, on the side where you wait for them to give you the shit. And he waddles up and shit. And he's like, like all incoherent. And he's looking at the girls back there. Hola. And so I'm like, all right, like, and then he keeps going, but I'm kind of, you know, I'm just making sure I know where he's at, just in case it gets even weirder. Then he kind of hobbles over. He gets down on the ground to like look for some shit that fell. All this is going on. I'm just I'm just waiting. So it's like this little entertaining show, and he's down there and his fucking ass is showing, you know, his
nice
fucking butt crack, and
nice.
Gets back up. He walks out of the restaurant, right? Does the same kind of weird bullshit, and like walks around, and I can see the people in the drive-thru are like, the fuck? Like, he's looking in trash, and then he comes around and he goes back in, like he walks around the you know, like the perimeter of the restaurant to the entry door on the other side. Like, so this dude is just like mumbling, sitting in the booth, doing laps around the place. And I get my chicken, and once again, I'm gone. But then I'm like, man, you know, hey, and it's their work. I'm sure they have protocol for handling bullshit like this, but I felt kind of bad. It was kind of like the Dutch Brothers thing. I was like, you know, I just left all these people here with this potential problem, you know, and I walked out with my chicken and I'm gone. Kind of like I did the bee with Dutch Brothers. So I'm a selfish motherfucker, dude. Once I get my transaction, I'm walking the other way. That's what I'm realizing about myself this week.
Well, that's reality, right? There's too many fucking bees, and there's
only so much. It's true. I got enough problems.
Mentally ill people. There's only so many times you can swipe at something. You can't. You know, that maybe that's the whole thing. You can't be the savior of the world, but you can sure as fuck try to save some things. But yeah, no. For me, don't really have any shout outs. I mean, really just shout ats, like, you know. But actually, once you release the part of the DVDA that we're releasing today, the second the full STN download, all over your face, neck, and chest, you'll hear me talking about the great states now of Oklahoma and Missouri, which if you get a chance, you have to listen. So it's going to be pretty fun. So those are my shout outs. I thoroughly have changed my complete opinions about those two states, and realize that where I live is worse than it was before. Like I'm pretty sure now there's Dallas, Fort Worth, and then like the outskirts. Like, you know how sometimes people say like Somalia is bad, but the city's probably not as bad as like that outskirt area, right? The super shanty towns.
Right.
Fort Worth is probably a little bit below that, and DFW is less than that. And the education level in Somalia is probably significantly better with higher literacy rates. So in the end, that's what my shout outs are. And then also, of course, shout out to Team USA, who I didn't get a chance to completely talk about either. And the fearlessness of Christian Pulisic for the winning goal, literally sacrificing his nuts for a goal. If anyone ever wants to, dude, there's a lot of players that would have pulled away from that goal. He knew that was the only way that ball was going in. He went all in. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the guy who makes, $13 million a year with Chelsea. I mean, he's making good money. He kind of risked everything to score that goal. So when you think about a lot of soccer players, a lot of them may be very talented, but they don't really, he really was really willing to take a massive damage so that the USA could go into the next round. So big shout out to TMC USA, big shout out to Christian Pulisic. It was amazing. Great game. I was so pumped. Watched it, jumped out of my seat when we scored. Bittersweet though, seeing him get hurt. But yeah, it was a pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So big shout out to that.
Big shout out to the concept. That just exemplifies big shout out to the concept of being present in the moment.
He was,
you know what I mean?
Present,
he was present in the moment. He realized what he needed to do at that very moment, despite the consequences. He just did it, man.
I'm a tough guy. Tough fucking kid, man. Tough fucking kid. He has a just finished up talking about badass. He has a sleeve, and I didn't realize it, but when he pulls it up, like imagine your forearm, the part underneath, like if you're holding your forearm over your face, is a face of like a lion or a tiger.
Okay, I like it.
It's fucking dope.
That's
so
cool.
He holds it up, and like it shows like his face. Well, shit, just not just him. It shows his face covered. And it's covered in that thing. So he definitely earned that tag.
That's cool.
He was
That's
fearless.
dope.
He was fearless. And I really hope that he's exemplified for his talent, and not only his talent, but is willing to go all in. So it was pretty neat. So with that,
I think right before we leave, one quick little shout out, and then I'll tie this. I'll tie this into.
How about the one in my pants?
The promotion, I'll tie that off, and we'll get down to it. I'm making a roast tonight, baby. We'll let that thing stew.
Long range one.
That's right. Let's put that on that a good old all-purpose rub on there.
Yeah, baby.
But listen here. So there's an app that I recently discovered.
Oh, Grindr, bro.
Well, no, bro. I've been discovered that shit. I'm just kidding.
I've been discovered that shit.
Bro, I've been on that shit.
My dick is tired.
Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm tapped out, dude. I can go back to regular life, dude. We figured out that was a thing. It's like
masturbation.
It's like a kid discovers a fucking, like back in 2017, a fucking 11-year-old discovers Fortnite, and then he like ruins his life, and 2 years later he's like, fuck Fortnite. Like we did that, dude. I'm all tapped out on Grindr.
Hey guys, only so many times you can drive to those rest stops.
I'm just kidding. If you're a first time listener, I'm joking. Or am I? I don't know. You be the judge. You'll just have to listen.
We're just asking questions here. We're just asking questions.
But so this app is called Dream by Wombo. No, this is amazing. So if you've never heard of this, AI is such a beautiful thing and scary thing. But what it can do is you can type a phrase in, and this shit'll just and you can pick like various styles of art, right? Different categorizations. So you type in a phrase, and whatever that phrase is, you hit search or you'll hit whatever, and it creates art with AI, using AI. And then so an image will show up after like about 15 seconds. So what I've been doing recently, if you've wondered what all these weird images are, and I haven't been the last week, I kind of had to take a break from social media for a minute just to get my head clear. But I'll be back on a little bit here and there.
Nice.
But anyway, if you've noticed some of the posts I've been making, you're like, oh, that's weird. Like, so what I've been doing is, so a fun little game you can play at home is, if you may have noticed that I take pride in the episode titles, or not pride, but I take consideration, right? I try to make them a living thing, right? To try to give a impression. And basically, I'm creating. That's why I think it's interesting. Is that's my version of AI, right? Like, so all the shit we talk about on the show, I try to make like a sentence out of it or a phrase out of it, right? That's the idea.
Right.
So I've been taking that a step further now with the use of this app. I'll take that phrase, like the episode title, and I'll put it into the blender, and then like an image will pop up. It's just a fun little game, dude. I think it's fun. So anyway, I'd be interested, but it's never the same, right? You could do the same phrase 50 fucking times. It'll generate something new every time. So what a fun little game you could play if you're a fan of the Skip the Noise podcast. Take your favorite episode, put it in a little AI blender and see what pops out, and then send it to me. And like, oh, that's interesting. But my favorite thing though that comes up is like it generates this like language. So like you say something like a billboard, blah, 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 blah. Like it'll have like this sort of fucking kind of dreamed out version of a billboard with this like vague alphanumeric language on it. You know what I mean? It's like not.
Oh, I saw that when you said those couple. Yeah. It almost looks like it's an alien, but not.
Yes.
It's like one of the ancient Latin or Greek.
Yes. Like for whatever. Yeah. It seems like a very primitive version of what evolved into the current usage of English or alphanumeric characters. Whatever. Fuck it. Have a week, guys. Skip the Noise podcast. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram. Man, if you can tell, dude, I've been holding this in. I haven't been on the show for about a fucking a month.
He just busted all over your audio canals. I mean, that was a long one. I like it though. It's good. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you. Hopefully we'll get you peppered in more. I know right now with the whole Christmas holiday season, you're kind of packed, but hopefully in January we'll be back with the renewed vigor and vitality plenty of bust for your audio canals for y'all to enjoy. But we'll still be putting out shows as regularly as it can next couple of weeks. I might throw out some solos if it's difficult. We'll figure it all out. We always figure it out. But I think with that, we're gonna wish you guys a wonderful, I guess, afternoon. Normally we say good night, but if for us right now it's actually still daytime. So we're day walkers today. So we are day walkers. Have a wonderful day, and let's pray that we don't have hyperinflation yet. So be nice.
We'll see.
Hopefully we're not selling ass by the end of the week to get toilet paper.
Hey, every week we're not selling ass for basic goods is a win.
Good fucking day. Good fucking day, ladies and gentlemen. and that's our inspiration note. Every day you're not selling your ass for basics. That's a good fucking day.
That's a good sign.
That means your day doesn't totally suck.
That's right. You're here. And have a great week, guys. We'll see you next time, whenever the fuck that is. Bye.